Yep. Oh, hey, what's up, wrestling fans? This is the Two Bros Wrestling Show on a special night for a special edition. Kevin, what's happening?
And a special time. Just we're throwing you
Oh,
off
oh,
by being right
oh
on
yeah,
time.
special time too. That's my fault. Sorry, everybody. I,
Hey,
I,
we
I had
wanted to get this. Tonight's show is about Backlash, so we're just saying the longer we wait, the closer we get to Backlash, and the more thorough a preview we can give the people. Maybe we put it that way.
sure that sounds great.
Bef-
Great.
Before we turn the corner though to Backlash, I want a quick shout out. Just thank everyone our month of April, all of our WrestleMania content, whether it was my video blog, Doug's review, Doug and I talking about Hall of Fame, some of our most engaged with content in quite some time. A lot of new subscribers. So thank you for supporting us during Mania season. And if it is
Yes,
your
thank
first
you.
time catching us during a more traditional format for us, we do a little thing we like to call
The opening bell.
opening bell. We hit the
News
news up
time.
front. And we might spend almost as much time talking news as we will Backlash
I
because
think we might.
there's a lot of news. Um, Obviously, our first broadcast back with our regular format, and since we have last had a news segment, the big news obviously is the number of post WrestleMania releases from the main roster. We're talking more than a couple of dozen. So even by WWE's annual like purge, this is pretty big.
Hmm.
Doug, I know we don't have time to go through every last
We do
person
not,
there,
unfortunately.
so I'm going to just read the list, and then at the end, I want to at least talk in general about which of these names shocked you most and who we think is bound for AEW, because there's certainly a few on here that I think that will happen to. All
Yes.
right.
Oh, hello, Oreo.
So
There's Cat.
let me catch my breath. Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, Kari Sane, Uncle Howdy, Nikki Cross, Santos Escobar, the Motor City Machine Guns, Dexter Loomis, Apollo Crews, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Andre Chase, Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, Tyra Maysteel, Serena Litton, Tyson Tariq, Chris Allen, Malik Blade, Trill London, Luca Crucifino, and then in that after that original batch, we had a few more this weekend. The MFTs, Tongaloa and JC Mateo, and then the New Days, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Those last two, a little different than the others in that apparently it
Hmm.
wasn't a straight up release. They were asked to restructure their contracts. They said no. They've parted ways. So, Doug,
Yes.
I will now catch my breath. Who
So here's
shocked
the
you the most
thing.
there?
I want to say Kyrie Sane. Right behind the New Day, Kyrie Sane. Watch out, Oreo.
Yeah.
Kyrie Sane, and then the New Day. But it sounds like very different conditions with Kyrie, unless the news has come out that Kyrie was also offered the take 50% of your original contract and we'll keep you around, just like the New Day was. But this is insane. You could create a wrestling federation
Oh
off
my
of all
God.
these WWE releases, right, Oreo? Yeah, you
I
agree
mean,
too?
Oreo agrees.
Oreo
Um,
does agree. Come here, little
I
dude.
agree with you too on who the more shocking releases were. There was a groundswell of support after the original round of the Save
Hmm.
Kari folks that were hoping that they'd have a similar effect to the campaign that brought
Hmm.
Kofi, or I'm sorry, our Truth back. Um,
Right.
it's shocking for her, especially because she's in the midst of a pretty prominent
Right in the middle of
storyline.
an ankle. Yeah.
Um, and the same could really be said for the MFTs too, that they were pretty
Hmm.
much all over SmackDown on most Friday nights. So the timing of their release, and I'm not saying they were on fire, the MFTs were,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
and then and the same really for the Wyatt Six. I mean, just it wasn't working. We've known for some time that it wasn't working. But then there's a lot of folks that just never even got the chance. I would say that of
Hmm.
those, most surprising to me was Tyra May Steele, who had a legit amateur background and was also the one of their LFG winners, and that is
Hmm.
a more thing. So you think that she would have had more of a runway. Um, Most of these others I wasn't as surprised about, to be honest. But let's talk about of this group. I think the ones that we are surprised about, Kari and
Mm-hmm.
the New Day,
New
they
Day.
they would definitely. I mean, the New Day, both of them have been around close to Kofi close to 20
Yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Woods not far behind that, like 16 or
Right.
something. Like it was a loyal service. Tony Khan would be a fool not to pick them up because it's not
Yes.
like they were old and washed up. They just have a lot of service time, but can still go. And there's a more of a tag team scene in AEW anyway that fits
Right.
that style. So I think New Day and Kari are definite AEW bound. And
And
I
same
would
with
say by
Motor
the
City.
same token, Motors. Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I
Motor
mean, they
City.
actually have more of that AEW style than they did a WWE style anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want to see Motor City Machine Guns versus Young Bucks or Motor City Machine Guns
Exactly.
FTR? I mean, they have way more matchups there than they had in
Yes, they
WWE.
do.
So I think it actually would work out better for them.
Absolutely.
Doug, I would have said no to this one, going back to AEW, that being Aleister Black, but reports are that he is in negotiations to go back, which is a bit surprising considering his other runs there have not necessarily gone well. And he
Right. They
even had a
haven't.
reputation as someone who was difficult
Take them all.
to work with in AEW, that he just did not want to do the job there either. So if he
Right.
returns, that'd be surprising unless they're just trying to get Zelina.
And you know what? Maybe we bring Zelina along, and he's a lot happier and is a bit more. I don't want to say compliant, but a bit more open to booking. Then,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
And the only other names on this list, and I really can't speak for a lot of the developmental kids who might be fits at some point, but the only one other one I would call out as a possibility, I think that JC Mateo was terribly, terribly wasted in the angle and the fake. I mean, he wasn't actually part of that bloodline. He that they were trying to put him in. But
right?
as Jeff Cobb in ROH or as Jeff Cobb in New
Hmm.
Japan, he was a beast.
Yes, he was a
So,
beast. Do you think they were like, okay, we already have like the Mateo character already with? Oh gosh, I forgot his name. The big dude from the from
oh,
from the from the Vision. Why is his name gone right now? Jonah from the
Brum
Indies.
Breaker. Yeah.
Not
Not
Braun
Brum
Breaker,
Breaker, Bronson
Bronson
Reed.
Reed. Yeah, do you think they were
Possibly.
like, oh wait a minute, we already have a Bronson Reed, we don't need two of them, so
I
let's get
think
rid
that
of him.
AEW could use one. I think that, I
Yes.
mean, Jeff Cobb, when he was in ROH, had sort of like a Taz feel to me. Like just, he
Hmm.
was just a suplex monster with a low center of gravity. Maybe a cross between Taz and Rhino is what he always reminded
Yes.
me of.
Yes, I
Um,
totally see that.
but he just was nothing as a background character with the MFTs. So maybe him.
Hmm.
The rest, honestly, I don't necessarily see much happening for. Um, Before we move on from this, because obviously we do not like to see that so many people
Mm-mm.
lose their jobs. But as far as just the rationale behind all of this, to me, and see if you agree with me, it's just very obvious that WWE realizes they have a pipeline problem. You
Yes.
have a lot of older stars at the top, and you definitely need to make sure you can replace those. So if you're watching NXT in the last 2 weeks, you're seeing it. It looks like Evolve. Like suddenly all the kids
Hmm.
that were in Evolve are now on NXT because we've had so many NXT call ups right around and after
Right.
Mania. And Evolve is just, I don't know who these people are. Like, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's obvious an attempt to try to get younger. And
Yes.
to that end, I don't necessarily blame them. There's some of these folks that at this point, if you've not made it, maybe you're not going to. So
Mhm.
I get it. It is unfortunate though. Do you think though that the whole restructuring contract thing? Now the rationale behind that, and I that makes
So.
sense too, is like, hey, when you signed this deal, things were different. You were on the road 4 days a week doing
Mhm.
house shows. Now you might wrestle 2 or 3 times a month. You're just showing up to TV, so you need to take less money.
See, I was having a conversation about this maybe half hour, 45 minutes ago. And I really sold the point that, this is a win win for TKO because either you have this talent that's not being utilized that much, that you, in your view, you're paying too much. So you give them one of two options. We're going to cut your contract by 50% by all indications, or you're free to walk. Either way, TKO wins because they've slashed budgets by at least 50% with these talent contracts, and in some cases, like with the New Day, they've just decided, you know what, we'll just go ahead and walk now.
Yeah.
So and again, TKO wins
it's a
because
safe bet for them to make
either,
because
either
either
way, it
way
is a win-win. The house wins here.
I understand that the wrestlers aren't wrestling as many dates, so maybe you restructure contracts because of that. But you wait until
Sure.
those contracts are done. Like the
Mm-hmm.
contract you signed with this talent, you should honor that contract. And then when it comes contract renewal time, maybe you say, "Hey, you're not doing as many dates, so this is the way the contract's going to flow now." Doing it in the middle of someone's contract seems, especially
That
when they're making money hand over fist right now.
Right. That and the fact that, these are independent contractors who really aren't that independent to begin with because they
No,
really can't do anything without permission of this place where they're independently contracted through. So, I mean, they had them tied up in these contracts, and at the end of the day, this is just a win-win for TKO and not the talent.
and it very well, from all reports, is maybe closer to the start than the end. That others may
Hmm.
be the word is out that others may be being asked to do the same thing. So we
Hmm.
will see how many more of these we will be
Right.
reporting on in the future. But we not only have releases to talk about. Moving on, we can talk about extensions as well. So if any of you were worried about Triple H, no
Thank
need to
God.
worry. Trips has signed a
The game is
multi-year
safe.
extension as WWE's chief content officer. The optics may be a little off on the timing for this one, Doug, because it came
Hmm.
right as we learned about these 24 wrestlers being let go for
Yeah.
supposed budgetary reasons.
Yeah, it is terrible optics, but TKO clearly does not care about optics.
No,
Clearly. I mean, and they do recognize that, give Triple H at least one night of WrestleMania and he's good. So he can deliver. And he'll play ball
um,
and give TKO a night of WrestleMania. So he gets the contract.
and for however many years it hasn't been said, but multi-year
Hmm.
deal for Triple H. But in the midst of extensions and releases, we also have some fresh signings. WWE signed up the former IWGP World Champion Evil, who has
Hmm.
already made his debut on last week's NXT and now goes by the name Naruko. Naruko, I'm presuming. But
Don't
Evil worked
know.
for me, but I guess all right.
Yes. Yeah, Evil was fine, but
WWE is on WWE.
Sky, his significant other, right? So it's just a matter of time before he's on Raw and
Yeah.
traveling with her, right? I mean,
I mean,
WWE at least does that for their couple's talent,
he is a former world champion in New Japan,
right?
so I mean, it's not like he really needs to be developed.
Yeah,
um,
I think he's in NXT long enough to learn the WWE style,
yeah.
and then rocket it on up to Raw with Sky and start traveling there.
And one more signing I want to call out. This one you might have missed because this is a prospect, and normally I wouldn't talk about a prospect being signed to the Performance Center. However, it's her family ties that's going to make this one
Mm.
newsworthy story. WWE announced last week the signing of 23-year-old Zoe Hines, a former collegiate softball player. Zoe Hines. Zoe Hines, ring any bells? No, probably not. How about if
No,
I
no.
say Curb Your Enthusiasm actress Cheryl Hines? What if I remind you that Cheryl Hines from Curb Your Enthusiasm is married to U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services
No,
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
no,
Yeah,
no,
RFK
no.
Jr.'s niece is now one more tie between WWE now. and the current administration. RFK is pretty much a wrestling gimmick, a walking wrestling gimmick on his own. So
He totally is. God, can we give her an anti-vaxxer gimmick? Can we get on that stat, please?
we will see how far Zoe gets in WWE, but congrats, I guess. Um, Speaking of NXT, big news for the developmental promotion. The CW, which is home to the brand's weekly TV shows, is now also the home of its PLEs. The last NXT PLE aired on YouTube after WWE's agreement with Peacock expired, but moving forward, you can watch NXT PLEs for free on the CW, beginning with the PLE coming up in July. Also, great news for the CW has entered into an agreement with ESPN Unlimited to be the streaming home of CW's sporting events, which include those NXT
Sports
PLEs.
ball.
So now you're going to have an archive there, and then the Roku channel is going to be the CW's next day streaming home, which means that the NXT weekly broadcast are going to have a home now as well. They've been kind of the one that was divorced from all the moving around when the Peacock thing expired. So now all of NXT's content has a streaming home. So good news there. But
Yay.
as
But wait.
W and the by extension WWE get in bed with the Roku channel, that means the NWA, who had previously aired on the Roku channel, they have new digs. And I actually think this is even better for them. So I don't know if you had heard this one or not, but NWA Power began just this past weekend airing first run episodes on Comet. And this is a partnership through Sinclair Broadcasting, which has prior wrestling experience with Ring of Honor. So as part of this new deal, Billy Corgan's promotion will have a Saturday afternoon time slot with replays throughout the week. It is being touted as the NWA's first broadcast TV deal since 1993. I think that that's probably an easier place for people to find them, because if you whether you have a live streaming service or watch online or go over the air or have a streaming package, like Comet is pretty easy to find. You don't have to have a specific app to watch it. So I think it's better.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I do too, actually. So yay.
We have the stats on the top 3 in-stadium merchandise sellers for WrestleMania 42 weekend. The top overall, this will be no surprise, was CM Punk. Coming in second, Cody Rhodes.
Hold on, I'm going to take my cat. Okay,
not a Cody fan. Oreo apparently not.
No, Oreo is not a Cody fan.
Actually, it is a bit surprising that the top 2 sellers actually were 2 guys who were booed during their main events, and that people wanted their opponents instead of them, but they still sold more merch. However, it was not those opponents, neither Randy Orton nor Roman Reigns, who came in at number 3. Doug, I think you could probably see where this is going. Number 3.
You are cursed, Doughausen.
Man, Danhausen, supposedly the TKO brass were blown away and just were not expecting the amount of merchandise that Danhausen has already moved, and was a top 3 seller at WrestleMania weekend, despite not even having a match and being relatively new. He outsold Reigns. He outsold all the established stars. So good for Danhausen.
Hold on, I'm being attacked by a cat again.
Okay.
Okay. Oreo does not like Danhausen either, apparently. And he's kind of got like a makeup like Danhausen, too.
I was going to say, Oreo, he's kind of Danhausen.
He's kind of got a Danhausen look.
Yeah.
Come on, do it. You are cursed.
Oreo
Hausen. Now. Oreo Hausen. Okay, now I'll leave my feet alone, maybe. Okay, so, Danhausen, his debut was totally botched. I think we can all agree on that. But the talent and just the character is there. It is time for that goofy comedic character in wrestling, and Danhausen fits it to a T.
He brings something different, and the crowds are into him. So after that initial thing where I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work, he is gold every time he's been on TV, and good for him. He's taking a niche, and he is selling merch. I texted you when I was in Vegas, like, I could
Mm-hmm.
not believe how many Danhausen shirts, how many Danhausen paint jobs. He
Mm-hmm.
was so over, it was insane. But hey, good for him.
And just just give it time. Eventually, we will have a Danhausen Mystery Iguana tag team champion run.
Oh,
We're gonna
oh,
have
wait,
to. Come on,
wait
can
for it,
you?
Doug. It may be happening. We'll get to our
Uh
backlash preview here.
huh.
um,
It's coming, man.
it's coming. SmackDown will mercifully be returning to 2 hours
Yes,
beginning in
thank
July.
you.
But don't get too happy. Apparently, WWE's contract with USA has SmackDown as 2 hours from July through December, but
Mm.
WWE will provide 3 hours to USA from January through June each year. So the 3 hour shows will return. Just enjoy the
Boo.
reprieve while you have it.
So all those people they just cut will be hired back for January through June, but only to be cut again.
Because we don't have enough time for you.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I'll talk about, we're going to have to end on a little bit of a sad note, but we do mourn the loss of billionaire maverick Ted Turner. We would be
Hmm.
remiss to not mention that Turner passed away this week at the age of 87. And while he will rightly be known most prominently as the inventor of cable news and arguably cable itself, his massive impact on the world of wrestling cannot be overstated. Ted was a lifelong wrestling fan and often
Hmm.
credited the wrestling shows he put on his station back in its early
Ted was,
days as one of the reasons for its success.
as Vince McMahon has pointed out, Ted wasn't a wrestling fan. Ted was a wrestling fan.
Wrestling fan. And
Wrestling fan.
he stayed loyal to Southern wrestling. He made it a
Yeah, he did.
staple of his early Channel 17 in Atlanta, which later became known as the Superstation WTBS.
Hmm.
That was really the start of the powerhouse that revolutionized TV, started that Turner empire. He took wrestling along for the ride too, because whether it was
Hmm.
Georgia Championship Wrestling in the 70s, the Crockett promotion in the 80s, then the WCW's 90s era, where we ended up with the Monday Night Wars with WWF. It is not overstating it. Tony Schiavone, I thought, did a really nice job of just laying it out that whether it's Ric Flair in the
Hmm.
Sting era to the Goldberg and the NWO era, they're just countless legends that very well we would not have known had it not
Right.
been for the fact that Ted Turner believed in pro wrestling, even when a lot of his executives did not. So for that, thank you, Ted, and condolences to the Turner family for the loss. And with that,
Man, yet.
we are going to switch to the topic of backlash. Um, there's some really great matches here, actually, a lot of which at
Boy,
one point in
backlash.
time were thought to be possible Mania matches. So,
Hmm.
Doug, let's just get right into it.
Let's do it. I got
Before
my
we
list
get
here
to
on
the
my phone.
matches, let's see. Do you have any feel at all for what John Cena is going to be doing? Because that is part of the promotion as well. That John Cena is returning again to make quote history making news that will quote change the WWE experience for superstars and fans. He's already been talking club WWE, so I assume it has
Right.
something to do with that. But I don't know why
See,
they're acting like we haven't already heard that.
yeah, I wonder this too because I mean it's not going to be any John Cena wrestling related stuff, but they have enough of a tease there that John Cena big announcement, John Cena big announcement. That's going to bring in some more casual eyes to it, I think, and then it's
Sure.
going to be a swerve of, oh yeah, here's more Club WWE information, and here's what we're doing now, and then he will be booed, and it'll be like, damn you, TKO.
I think you probably laid that out as the way it's going to go pretty clearly. So I'm with you on
Yeah.
that. It will be a corporate sell, and it probably will not go over very well, whatever it is.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
unless
because
everybody in the
he'll be
crowd is getting a free membership or a
right.
WWE ice
Yeah.
cream bar, they're probably going to boo whatever it is that is being
I mean,
announced.
he will be welcomed as a conquering hero, but booed out of the building after his segment is over because that's just the way us wrestling fans roll. I mean, it
Yep.
really is. Don't
Yep.
try and swerve us unless it's a good wrestling swerve, and TKO is not
Yep.
known for their good wrestling swerves.
It will not be history making news. It's going to be a
No.
sign up now for $50 a month for
Hmm.
something kind of, yeah. I agree
Yeah,
with you.
thanks to
Um,
Dodge Trucks, we're going to give you a 50% discount if you sign up now through the end of tonight's PLE. Okay,
History making. Yeah.
history making.
Boo.
Yeah,
You're right.
boo. Yeah, where's Pat McAfee?
We'll see. John John probably has his work cut out for him to not get booed.
Hmm.
Um, which leads us to the card and the fact that I'm not putting this in the order, I think, of preference matches if I was putting
Hmm.
the card together. I'm putting this in the
Right.
order of what we know is going to be on the first hour because, once again, WWE is going to air the first hour for free on ESPN2. And we know, once again, what those two matches will be. Doug, I thought this was an ingenious thing for Mania, but I'm
Hmm.
maybe a little more concerned after seeing the execution of it that if this is the Mania is 2 nights and it's 4 hours. Most WWE
Right.
pay-per-views have lately been closer to the 3 hours. So if you're starting to give an hour away for free, promising two matches, throwing in those commercials, for those who are actually paying for the full thing, you're only going to get
Hmm.
2 hours probably of wrestling that is
Man,
behind a paywall. So are you
this
kind
was
of doing some disservice to your paying customers if you do this all the
yes.
time?
Yes, you are. Cause yeah, like I'm just doing screenshots and texting them you live at WrestleMania and going, here's the crap I'm getting right now in between
What are you seeing?
matches. What are you getting? I mean, come on.
I hope that they at least learn their lesson about the number of commercials. It's one thing I understand it's all about money. It's a business, but you got your names on turnbuckles and on the mats and on the marquees and in the bugs at the bottom of the screen. Like there's a lot of ways you could do placement of promotional
Hmm.
considerations without making folks set for an hour of the 3 hour show
And
watching
let's
commercials.
be honest about this. WWE TKO already squeezes every bit of video space in that 16 by 9 screen we're all watching, regardless of how big our screens actually are. But that 16 by 9 frame has so much product placement in it. We've got like Slim Jim tables and
Yeah.
Jimmy John ring mats
The
and
Prime Hydration
yeah,
Center and
exactly. The prom hydration station and insert your sale of the week ad buy for like turnbuckles. It's all already there. I'm overwhelmed now.
and
It's like I'm watching
maybe
NASCAR.
leave it at that. We've all gotten used to that and have accepted it. As long
Hmm.
as you're having matches while we're seeing those things, I think fans will be forgiving. But if you're
Yes.
starting to give it all away for free and then fill it full of ads, which makes the part you're
Hmm.
giving away for free short by necessity, it's hurting the product. And then fans will rebel on that. And they will rebel against Cricket Wireless and all the other companies that are supporting it too, because they will see them as part of the problem.
Hmm.
So be careful, WWE. Hopefully, you've learned your
We're
lesson.
watching.
We'll see if they've
Hopefully.
learned their lesson. We do know that two matches will air on ESPN2. The first being the United States Championship match, Trick Williams in his rematch with former champion Sami Zayn. Um, Gingerbread Man is dead. Maybe Little
No.
Yachty is alive. I don't know, but I don't see the result being any different than this. The Trick Williams is the man. There's just
What's
no
that
two ways
trick?
about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two
I think it'll
over.
be. I think they'll give them more time because they had a more crowded card that they were competing against. They were not designed in the Mania order of things to be a show stealer. They were there to have a solid match, which they did.
Yeah.
This is going to be on the buy part of, we have to
Hmm.
make it good. So you buy the next part of it. So I think that they will be allowed to do a little more and they'll give a little more in this contest.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, at the end of the day, like you say, trick is going over again.
The other one is another, like they did at Mania, where it's almost surprising that this is going to be on the free portion. But the other match is what at one time was going to be a WrestleMania match, and that is Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker with the previous teammates in the
So,
division picking up where they left off before the injury to Braun Breaker.
and this is on the free portion. What?
Yes, yes,
What?
exactly. And
Come
Doug, I
on.
mean, you're currently paying for it. So as someone who's currently
Yes.
paying for the ESPN Unlimited subscription, would you rather have like the Danhausen match? No offense, Danhausen. Would that be better for the first hour? Would you feel
Yes.
less gypped on what you're paying for? Because
Come
this to me is like the semi-main event. This is maybe the second biggest match on the whole
I
show.
I agree. For all the money I'm giving to Disney, ESPN, Hulu, I'm getting this for free. People are getting this for free.
They're getting it for free. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, at least Darth Maul, Shadow Lord. I'm at least getting my money's worth for that, but not this. Come on. I don't
Yeah.
even like sports ball, but I have an ESPN subscription, like the
For
ESPN
this.
God tier subscription for this nonsense.
And you could watch it for free with all of us other
Yes.
cheapskates. Um, yeah, a bit surprising in the booking, but it's going to be kind of like WrestleMania, where it's a little topsy turvy booking, where you have some of your bigger matches in the first hour, then the come down match, and then pick back up again. Definitely one of the bigger matches, in my opinion, on the whole card. As far as how it breaks out, I can't. I know Seth just lost to Gunther, but Braun Breaker just returned. So
Right?
can you have Breaker lose?
I don't know. I mean, it's easy enough for either one of them to get their heat back, but I think Breaker needs to go over. The kid needs a win after returning. I I think it's easier for Seth to get that heat back after this, where Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins, but Breaker back from injury needs that win. I don't, and maybe, and it makes it a little bit easier to digest because you were with some shenanigans from the Vision. So Seth, it's not a clean win for whatever reason, which protects Seth. So I would think that would be the way this would go. So it could continue this on to maybe somewhere at SummerSlam where we get a Rollins. Rollins finally gets to give the evil villain his comeuppance.
And I think that there's a very good chance that because of the stakes involved and the fact that Braun needs the victory and that Seth can get back that victory later, that the
Mhm.
Vision teammates of
Yeah.
Braun might have something to say about this. In the same way
Mhm.
that Braun had everything to do with Gunther beating
Mhm.
Seth Rollins, could we possibly see maybe a Bronson Reed return so the
Yeah.
division as they get up to full strength, maybe just Seth ends up having to get him some help to extend this a little longer. But
Maybe he gets him JC Mateo and brings him over.
maybe that won't happen.
That's the way I'm booking it. You got a
Oh,
Bronson Reed, I got a Bronson Reed.
that's funny. Um, yeah, I agree with you though. I think that Braun probably takes this one, although this is one of the harder matches maybe to predict.
Yeah.
Not so hard, and maybe you'll disagree with me, is this next match, which will be behind the paywall now that we're live on the PLE portion of the
Hmm.
PLE. But we have The Miz and Kit Wilson taking on Danhausen and to be
Yeah.
decided.
Come on, man. It's screaming. We teased it
You mentioned it
earlier.
earlier. As soon as you
Come
said it, I'm
on.
like, yeah, you may be
How
seeing it like in
how
48
do
hours.
you
You may be seeing
How
this.
do you not do this? This is a money machine. You talk about the money machine goes, brrr, this is it. You get like the iguana thing with the Danhausen like face paint. That's plushy would sell bazillions of dollars worth of merch. Come on. Iguana Hausen? Come on.
Now the storyline is that Nick Aldis is going to give Danhausen this match as long as he can find himself a tag partner. So,
Okay.
I mean, yes, it could be Mr. Iguana. It could be a CM Punk who's not on the card. I mean, it could be
Mhm.
just about anybody. I
It
don't
could be.
I don't care who it is. I think that Mr. Iguana makes sense at some point. I don't
Mhm.
know if they'll do it now, but
Come
I don't
on.
care
Pull the
who they
trigger.
pick. Danhausen is not losing this match,
It's not
whoever his
loose.
partner is. He can
He
pick
is not
Doug
losing.
and Danhausen and Doug.
Exactly. Hey,
Doughausen and
call me.
Danhausen are winning that match
Call me.
if that's the question.
I am all up for Doughhouse, and it'll be the last match I'll be able to do for a while, but I am available at least until Tuesday. So call me now.
That's right. Get him in on Saturday night. We have an angle already built in for
I mean,
Doug's
I
absence
get a
in
little
the ring.
shortness of breath and dizzy right now, but come on. I mean, it's not going to be that long of a match either way. So,
Yeah. And Danhausen it'll be a comedy relief. This will be the come down match, probably open up the PLE proper
yeah.
because they'll have the hot two matches, especially that Seth Braun match. And then this will be the comedy relief that brings everybody down before they get back into the card.
Mhm.
And speaking of getting back into the card, we're in agreement
Yes,
on that one. This
yeah.
next one, I have a feeling we might be in agreement on too. This has Scene Stiller written all over it, in my opinion. This is a match that, in my opinion, also should have been on WrestleMania proper, and that
Hmm.
is Io Sky
Oh, yeah,
versus
yeah, yeah.
Asuka.
Absolutely.
Um, Heavy backstory, lots of history between these two. It's a shame that it's a little tainted by the Kari Sane exit, but the main protagonist, antagonist in that situation has always been Io and Asuka. Probably should have came to a head at Mania. They saved it for Backlash. In some ways, it will get more attention here, having its own platform. I think this is going to be maybe one of the matches of the night.
Yes, because the Empress of Tomorrow and the Genius of the Sky, come on, with just those nicknames alone, it is an
Two of the best
epic.
nicknames in wrestling. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, come on. But the talent both these women have is just amazing and insane. And I agree, scene stealer from top to bottom. I use this phrase too much, but regardless of who wins, all of us fans win when a match like this happens. But I'm saying EO goes over here. EO
Yeah.
over the moon here.
I think that we're going to be in lockstep on almost all of our choices here because
Yeah.
Asuka is the senior member in this equation and is Asuka no matter what happens. Io is someone who rightly is considered by some to be maybe the best wrestler in the world, male or female. And it's a shame
Yes.
she was not on the WrestleMania card. So I think she gets to show out here and go over and
Yes.
hopefully get herself a good program coming out of Backlash and
Hmm.
putting Asuka because it has gone for a while. I think this probably is the blow off,
Yes.
and I do think that Io takes it.
Yes.
Which leads us to Doug, our main event, which is
Man.
incredibly intriguing. Incredibly intriguing. Great storyline. The thing about Backlash is it does come so quickly on the heels of Mania that you have to pivot very fast. So a lot of the
Hmm.
stuff is bubbling through Mania season, like Asuka and Io. But then you have something like this that wasn't bubbling through the Mania season, but was really easy because of the family ties
So
to
easy.
turn the switch on. I mean, I was there live watching Raw after WrestleMania, and I'm thinking this is absolutely how you end the Raw after WrestleMania to give that
Mhm.
traditional feel of like it has to be the biggest Raw of the year. Well, this is how you do it. You've just
Right.
elevated Fatu by putting him over Drew at WrestleMania, and then you instantly throw him into the main event scene against his cousin. And the rationale, man, the work these two have done on the microphone. The tribal chief always being good on the mic as that character, but then you have
Hmm.
the different take of the street character
Yes.
that is Fatu going, I need what you have. I need the shoe endorsements. I need the bigger house. I need the better school for my kids. Like,
Hmm.
not, the uh, getting your kids into a better school district has never been anything that I thought would work so well in
Right.
a wrestling
Yes.
promo. But I'm like, that's
Yes.
absolutely why he wants it. I don't want to be the tribal chief just to be the tribal chief like you for the power. It's like I want what the power brings, and that is what is best for me and my family. I think Fatu is a future world champion. Now, is he a world champion on this night?
See, that's what I hate about this. Yes, Jacob Fatu is a future world champion. And I hate that we are already doing this
Too
because
soon?
I
You
think
think?
you and I both know that the tribal chief at the end of the night is walking out of there with that strap. We both know this,
Yeah.
but it should be on Jacob at some point. but it ain't gonna be this weekend. And I
So
hate that because it should be Jacob eventually, but not right after a Roman win at WrestleMania. He's had it for like what, less than a month,
yeah,
really?
he's not
It,
losing it that quick. Do you think though that Fatu is losing the main event spot that quick? It's like this is just for this one pay-per-view, or do you think this is the start of a summer series?
I would
Because
love that.
I thought it was interesting. I stuck around after the second night of Mania out in the
Hmm.
parking lot to watch the post show, and Roman was on there, and he talked about the whole part time thing. He's like, we need to do something
Hmm.
about that. And as you know, he's made several comments since on air about not being a part time talent anymore. But he never
Right.
says I'm back for good. He always says you're going to be seeing me all summer. I'm like, well,
Hmm.
that's really specific.
It really
Why would you
is.
give that away? Does that mean that it's like a Cena situation or a Rock situation from a few years back where I'm coming back for a run and then I'm going off to do the movie thing again? Maybe he's around for the summer. Maybe he and Jacob fight all the way to SummerSlam, and this is just round one. And
And
then at the end of the summer, Fatu becomes the king.
And I find that totally acceptable because it's always better to have that babyface chase that title for a while and overcome adversity. That is always a better story. It's classic wrestling storytelling too, to have that babyface continually overcome adversity until he finally gets that gold, right? You said it before, these, the better school, looking out for the kids, I need that for this. That is so babyface. So let's let Jacob chase that. It's a great redemption story too. The guy goes from, this teenage criminal, goes through the jail system, the legal system, is been searching for redemption. Everybody loves a redemption arc anyway. So this is great for that, and I'm totally cool and totally on board with it. But again, I know after this weekend, Roman is still,
Yeah.
we're going to get and still, champion.
Um, it is still a litmus test for Jacob to see if he can hang in a main event. Obviously, he's
Come
main
on,
evented in
come on.
MLW and
We
things in the
know he
past.
can hang in a main event.
I think, and the fans are so behind him. I think it's great and very interesting how when it was CM Punk, Roman Reigns, that was a mostly pro Roman crowd, and we all were like a tribal chief. And then within 24 hours, suddenly Roman boo because we just love Jacob that much. Like immediately,
Hmm.
Roman went from being the tweener leaning face to being like, we don't like you, we want Fatu. So how
Hmm.
long they can keep Fatu from that title might be really interesting too. If the fans
Right.
just overwhelmingly want to see Jacob
It,
Fatu
bec-
ascend.
it becomes almost the Brian Danielson situation, Brian Danielson situation from, not
Yeah,
so
a few
long
years
ago,
back.
where the babyface chases to where it's just unsurmountable, and it's like, okay, well, we've got to give this kid the title because fans.
So I think that there's good matches on this card. I
Hmm.
mean, when you look at it, there's
Absolutely.
some really strong matches. I think what it might be lacking, and this might be where you and I are wrong on one of these, is that I don't see a ton of surprises. I don't see title
I
changes. I
don't
don't.
either. No.
So it's either just going to live and die on the fact that we're going to provide you some really good wrestling action, or they're going to do something to try to swerve what we expect by having an unexpected winner or some other surprise or return or something that
Well,
moves past WrestleMania, really, because Backlash
right.
is titled the way it is for a reason. But now we got to get into the summer season, start building the SummerSlam. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Maybe it has something to do with John Cena's news.
I'm sure he does. Maybe, by the end of the night, Roman and Fatu are throwing down for their like new WWE like club subscription or something. I don't know. Brought
We
to you
will
by
see.
Dodge Ram trucks. Who knows?
We will see this weekend along with all of you on Saturday as it airs from
Saturday.
Tampa. And with that, we get to do our first big finish in quite some time as well. Um, Doug, botch of the week. Do you have something? Because I
Brother,
have something.
I I'm going to default to you because I'm not qualified to talk on wrestling over the past couple of weeks, other than to just have like a wild opinion of it. For because the last few weeks have been pretty busy, and there's some big things coming up in Doug World. So I haven't caught all the wrestling I would like to catch up on. I can talk Viltrumites because I finally got caught up on some stuff, but other than that, no wrestling catch up yet.
Well, I will tell you what got my goat, and this is a minor thing, and it's actually a couple weeks old at this point. But um, as folks who have been watching our show and watched our last episode know, I managed to luck out and find myself to Vegas, which was so much fun. I
Excellent coverage, by the
highly
way.
recommend. Thank you, and thank you for holding down the fort and with your review as well, which was great.
Well, visual AI Doug is a little scary, but I was a little wheezy, and it just was better delivery to have a avatar take the wheel.
I did get back though and start to watch a few of the things that I'd seen to see how the TV presentation was. And something shocked me, and that was when I watched the Raw after WrestleMania on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was watching live, the segment where Braun Breaker comes into the ring and then the Street Profits come and make the save after Seth Rollins jumps him.
Mm-hmm.
Breaker disappears for a little while from the Netflix version. Like he is down at ringside, but where I sat, I could see like someone on the tech side from around the camera comes running around, crawling around the ringside to not be caught on the hard cam with the towel.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, somebody's busted open the hard way. And sure enough, Braun Breaker.
Okay.
Did you see the staples in the back of his head right now?
Yeah.
Yes. So even from where I was, and I wasn't at ringside, I was, first level, but still far enough back that I though could see, oh my gosh, when he stood up, like just bright.
Yeah.
Juice. And I thought, oh, he's not going to be able to finish this segment. Obviously he did. When I watched the segment though on Netflix, he's in the ring and they blur it. They blur there's blood on his forehead. It's mainly coming from the back of his head. That's where he split himself open. That chair that he took is what did it.
Yeah.
That Seth hit him with. But there ended up blood on his forehead. They blurred the smeared blood. I thought, well, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Then I get to the main event, and that was JD McDonough versus Finn Balor on that night. Now, from where I sit, I could see that Finn Balor also bled. His lip. He had a busted lip. On the Netflix rebroadcast, now live, I'm sure it aired live.
Right.
On the rebroadcast, they blurred his lip. You have AEW over on Turner Broadcast System, TBS Basic Cable, like bloodbaths on Wednesday nights. They're sticking syringes through people's faces. A guy gets a busted lip in Netflix, the home of some of the more gory, like whatever movies or TV shows. Like it's Netflix, not basic cable like AEW, and you're blurring a busted lip. That's my botch of the week.
That is quite the botch.
That's ridiculous. It's Netflix. Come on.
Yeah.
Performance of the week, and now this is a really bad probably segue because I'm going to get serious here for a minute. And this is something I almost put in the news section, but for my performance of the week, I just wanted to give Tania Brooks a shout out for her grace and courage. Brooks, you might not know her by her real name, but Brooks was a WWE, a TNA wrestler, most recently in AEW as Rebel. But Rebel has been off TV for the last 2 years, battling a bunch of just terrible health issues, including lymphoma. Well, then this past week, have you heard about this yet, Doug?
I know that she is not well. Yeah.
Well, this past week, as if things could not have got worse, she announced that she has been diagnosed with ALS. So for those who don't know, ALS is a progressive neodegenerative disease that does not have a cure. So basically, it's terminal for Rebel. But she came forward because it is May, and May is ALS Awareness Month. And I just think just on every level, it is commendable and courageous that where I feel I would probably just cower away, she is coming forward And we just wish her all the best as she navigates this terminal diagnosis. So, thoughts and prayers to Rebel
Absolutely.
on this difficult time and journey. Match of the week, Doug. I know you said you hadn't seen much.
What do I need to watch?
I'm going to go off. I'm going off script really here. There was a lot of good AEW, a lot of good WWE. The big guys get all the attention. I'm going to go though to that debut episode of NWA Power on Comet and say that the women's match for the women's TV championship, Tiffany Nieves defending and losing her title to Giselle Shaw, was a really great representation of the talent that actually exists in Billy Corgan's promotion. And on the female side, it was a great way to sort of make a good first impression for those who maybe have not been following the product and are catching it on broadcast TV as they flip through channels. So if you haven't seen that match, it's a good taste of what at the top of its license NWA can provide, and hopefully they have a show as good as their first episode. If so, then we're in for a treat. And with that,
wait, that's it, isn't it? That's it.
That is it. It's actually it for a while. Not a while. We're taking a little bit of a break, typically after Mania, because we just Mania all the time, and then we take a little hiatus because we all sort of collectively catch our breath. We usually take a couple of weeks off after Mania. We didn't necessarily this year. We also usually take a couple weeks off in the summer, and we know we've got Memorial Day coming up as well. We're just kind of combining that, going on a hiatus for about a month-ish or so, but ish. We're going to just
we'll see.
Yeah, just stay tuned to our channels. Not saying we will not be dropping content. We most certainly will. But especially for those who have just signed on, we want to make sure that we continue to serve you and that provide some interesting tidbits. But yeah, however you're following us, stay tuned to those channels, and we will be back before you know it. But
we
until
will indeed. Folks, go watch some wrestling. Good night, everybody.
See you soon.